1, 2. Is this on?
Dominik Mysterio gets booed louder than almost anyone in WWE. But listen closely, that hatred, it's earned. And lately, it's turning into something else. Respect. Even cheers, not for what he's saying, but for what he's become. Because Dominik Mysterio is now doing some of the best character work in all of wrestling. He's blurred the line between fiction and reality, and somehow made himself matter. He never drops the act, not on social media, not in interviews, not even in his personal life. He's blurred the line between who he plays and who he is. This isn't the same kid who debuted as Rey Mysterio's awkward sidekick. This is a guy the crowd once rejected violently, and yet now, he's one of the most important names in the company. This is the story of how a legacy kid, born into booze, fought through doubt, and became the most hated and ironically most beloved heel in all of wrestling. Dominik's journey began not in the humble training halls like most rookies, but on one of WWE's grandest stages. In August 2020 at SummerSlam, the 23-year-old Dominik made his in-ring debut against Seth Rollins, a baptism by fire in a street fight. He had never wrestled in front of a live crowd before. In fact, his debut came during the pandemic's Thunderdome era with virtual fans watching. The expectations were sky high. How could there not be? His father is the legendary Rey Mysterio, a Hall of Famer known worldwide as the icon of Lucha Libre. Dominik hadn't spent years on the independent circuit, or even in WWE's developmental NXT system. As WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels later observed, Dominik was literally thrown into the deep end pretty quickly.
There is no reason, rhyme or man, or why I should have been out there in any way, shape, or form wrestling with any of these guys. So like the fact that like I was out there and I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work.
Tasked with filling the shoes of a beloved superstar from day one. From the outset, fans and critics alike were skeptical. Whispers of nepotism followed Dominik everywhere. Many online commenters and veteran fans felt that the only reason he skipped the customary dues paying in NXT was his last name. He should be forever known as a nepo baby because there's no way he skips NXT if his father wasn't on the roster. This sentiment was common during Dominik's early months. Social media posts questioned his readiness. Dominik Mysterio is clearly in WWE because of Rey. He's not ready for this, send him to NXT. In those first appearances, Dominik showed flashes of potential, athleticism, youthful bravery, but also the unmistakable greenness of a rookie. Crowds initially gave polite applause out of respect for Rey, but there was a palpable doubt. Was Dominik truly cut out for this, or was he just riding his father's coattails? Dominik's early run was not without its highlights. In May 2021, he and Rey achieved a heartwarming milestone, becoming the first ever father and son duo in WWE history to capture tag team gold. Fans cheered as Rey raised his son's hand in triumph, a proud father passing the torch. But the glow of that moment would soon fade, and the harsh spotlight of expectation remained. Despite making history as SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Dominik still struggled to win over the audience on his own merits. As months went by, murmurs in arenas grew louder. Some crowds began to boo Dominik, even while he was a good guy, not out of storyline malice, but out of genuine apathy and frustration. The term "go away heat" started circulating. Wrestling sang for heat born from fans truly wanting a performer gone, not the orchestrated boos that villains seek. Online criticisms piled up. On Twitter, one fan wrote bluntly, "I'm sorry, but Dominik Mysterio is just bland. No charisma, weak on the mic, nothing beyond the Mysterio name." It was a cruel assessment for a young man still finding his footing. Every night, Dominik donned gear emblazoned with the Mysterio heritage. Vibrant stripes on his tights, tributes to his dad and the late Eddie Guerrero. Yet some fans twisted that legacy into taunts. Chants of Eddie's son echoed in arenas. A callous jibe referencing the old storyline where Eddie Guerrero once claimed to be Dominik's father. To Dominik, these jeers were daggers, reminding him that many fans saw him as an unworthy heir. Backstage, Dominik's confidence wavered. Even Rey, ever the supportive father, reportedly wondered if his son was truly ready for this level of competition. Dominik had essentially grown up on WWE television, appearing in childhood during Rey's feuds, but now he was expected to carry matches on live TV. The pressure was immense. He had his father beside him, guiding him through tag matches, yet the shadow Rey cast was long and dark. Every time Dominik slipped up or delivered a mediocre promo, critics pounced. They questioned his passion, his training, even his heart. What do you do when the cheers you dreamed of turn to boos? When the crowd that loved your father can't stand the sight of you. By mid-2022, the seeds of a dramatic change were being planted. Rey and Dominik found themselves at odds with a menacing new faction called the Judgment Day, led by Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. In a series of confrontations, the Judgment Day tried to corrupt the younger Mysterio. Rhea, in particular, took a keen interest. She began playing mind games with Dominik, whispering in his ear during matches and casting doubt on Rey's guidance. In July 2022, during Rey's 20th anniversary celebration on Raw, Ripley showed up wearing an Eddie Guerrero "I'm Your Poppy" t-shirt. shirt. A brazen taunt aimed at the Mysterio family. The message was clear. The Judgment Day wanted to tear father and son apart to lure Dominik to their side. Dominik was at a crossroads. The fans had turned on him, and inside he was torn between loyalty to his father and the temptation to step out of Rey's shadow. The stage was set for a decision that would change everything. On September 3rd, 2022, at Clash at the Castle in Cardiff, Wales, Dominik Mysterio's internal struggle erupted into open defiance. That night, Rey Mysterio and Edge defeated the Judgment Day, while Dominik was supporting his dad from ringside. But then, as Edge and Rey celebrated, Dominik stepped into the ring. What happened next sent the arena into a frenzy. Without warning, Dominik viciously kicked Edge below the belt, dropping the Hall of Famer to his knees.
Their collective side. Oh my God!
Edge's face contorted in pain and shock. Rey, confused, reached out to his son and was met with a short-arm clothesline that nearly took his head off. Dominik blasted his own father to the canvas. The thunderous impact matched only by the gasp of 60,000 fans in attendance.
What the hell? Damn it, kid, what are you doing?
Reminiscent of how his good friend Eddie Guerrero turned on him years prior, the man who in storyline claimed to be Dominik's real father. For a split second, the crowd in Cardiff cheered, not out of approval for the betrayal, but out of sheer shock in witnessing a son betray his legendary father. That shock quickly turned to loud boos, cascading from the stands. In the front row, people were seen covering their mouths in absolute shock. Rey Mysterio's expression said it all: heartbreak, confusion, and a father's pain. The heel turn was like a lightning bolt through the WWE Universe. Social media exploded. The same fans who had dismissed Dominik as a charismaless kid suddenly sat up and paid attention. Tweets poured in. Dom just turned on Rey. Never thought I'd see the day. This is the best thing that could have happened to him. Not gonna lie, that Dominik heel turn was chef's kiss. Instant nuclear heat. The kid finally showing some personality. Freed from the expectations of being a heroic son, Dominik fully embraced his dark side. As a member of the Judgment Day, he found a new family, one that encouraged his worst impulses. Finn Balor and Damian Priest became like devilish older brothers, guiding Dom in the art of cheating and intimidation. But it was Rhea Ripley who had the most profound influence. The towering, goth-clad Rhea took Dominik under her wing in a way that was equal parts mentor, protector, and provocateur. She had helped lure him away from Rey, and now she remolded him in Judgment Day's image. Rhea started calling herself Dominik's mummy, a sultry nod to their dynamic that drove the crowd crazy. The moniker was a clever spin on Eddie Guerrero's old "I'm your poppy" catchphrase, a role Rhea literally stepped into when she wore that slogan on her shirt to irk Rey. After Dominik's heel turn, Ripley proudly flipped the script. She would now be the dominant parental figure. From then on TV, Dominik would gaze up at the imposing Rhea and lovingly call her mommy, while she in turn dubbed him Dom Dom. It was a bizarre, twisted relationship, and WWE fans ate it up. With Rhea as his mommy, Dominik's personality began to blossom in the most unexpected way. Once shy on the mic, he now spoke with cocky bravado. He grew out his hair into a shaggy mullet, paying homage to Eddie Guerrero, the man who once fought for Dominik's custody. He even started imitating Eddie's signature mannerisms, from the little shimmy before dropping a frog splash to cheekily using Eddie's lie, cheat, and steal tactics. This wasn't a tribute born of respect, but a taunt, a way to needle the audience by comparing himself to the beloved Eddie. And it worked. Every time Dirty Dom mimicked the Latino heat, the arena rained boos.
It is heating up in Louisville. Vertical suplex by Dominik, and now no doubt that will infuriate his father, Rey Mysterio.
The more dastardly Dominik became, the louder the chorus of boos grew. By late 2022, he was arguably the most hated man on WWE television. Remarkably, that was exactly the goal. Dominik leaned into the hate, no longer craving cheers.
Like I was saying, I decided not to show aggression towards my dad. I can't. Ha sido más un padre para ella. I've always been there through my lowest of lows.
In interviews, he openly said he loved being booed, and that plenty of wrestlers want to be cool heels, but he was content being truly despised.
For the past 2 years, I've been getting booed, like relentlessly. Like I doing this out in public, like I'd get booed. Like people don't let me talk.
At Payback, we did exactly what Mommy told us to do. We're not medically clear to handle Judgment Day business. I said,
I can't hear anything you're saying. It's pointless.
I always thought they were pumping in that noise. I didn't realize
how loud it actually was when you were out here.
Sometimes I just give up on the promos because I can't just sit there and for 2 minutes and try and talk when they're not letting me.
You could see a sly grin on his face each time an arena full of fans rained down boos. He provoked them further by referring to Ray as that deadbeat dad every chance he got, twisting the knife in the wound of their family drama.
When the only Hall of Fame you deserve to be in is the Deadbeat Dad Hall of Fame.
Even WWE's commentary team seemed to loathe him. The usually impartial Michael Cole became increasingly biased, blasting Dominik whenever possible, a unique dynamic that fans found delightful.
Somebody should smack that kid across the face. Look at the face of that guy. So many things I'd like to say about him. Say you stink. You suck. You gotta be kidding me.
You guys let this kid get out of control.
This kid is an absolute piece of shit. Watch your mouth, Michael Cole.
In another instance, when Dominik claimed a brief stint in jail had made him harder, Cole mocked him mercilessly.
Like, this man has done nothing but bash me, and I feel like I'm the best.
And now they're taking out Dominik Mysterio. Take him out, guys. Take him out, guys. Take him out. Dominik gets beat down.
Week after week, Cole's shoot-style tirades, effectively voicing the audience's fury, only amplified the heat on Dominik, and Dirty Dom reveled in it, responding with a simple smug smirk.
He hears you. Oh, and a cheap shot by Mysterio. What is that? What is that? What is that? You shouldn't even be out here.
In turning to darkness, Dominik had found something unexpected: confidence. The more the WWE Universe booed, the more he grew into his own. He didn't need their approval, he had Judgment Day, he had his mommy, and he had the courage to be utterly unlikable. By early 2023, the feud between Dominik and Ray reached a boiling point. Dominik grew more vicious in insulting his dad. Week after week, he grabbed the microphone on Raw or SmackDown to publicly denounce Rey Mysterio as a deadbeat dad. He accused Ray of choosing WWE over his family, of never being around during Dominik's childhood. In one particularly scathing promo, Dominik spat the ultimate dagger.
Because at the end of the day, I should have been Eddie's son.
The crowd couldn't believe the audacity, invoking Eddie, Ray's best friend and rival, in such a cruel way. It was nuclear heat, and Dominik knew it. Ray refused to retaliate for a long time. He begged off fights, still seeing Dominik as the little boy he once bounced on his knee. But Dominik made it impossible to ignore his rebellion. He started targeting the rest of the family. On Thanksgiving 2022, Dominik, with Rhea in tow, literally invaded Ray's home, attacking his injured father in the middle of their holiday dinner. On Christmas Eve, he tried again, resulting in Dominik being arrested after an altercation, as Angie Mysterio, Dominik's mother, slapped Rhea and police hauled Dom away in handcuffs. These incidents were presented as home footage to WWE audiences, and while absurdly entertaining, they added real venom to the storyline. The final straw came on a March 2023 episode of SmackDown. During Ray's Hall of Fame celebration, Dominik insulted his mother and called his sister stupid from the ring. That was the final straw. Ray turned back, punched his son, and finally said the words fans had waited for.
I'll see you at WrestleMania, son.
And so on April 1st, 2023 at WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, a Mysterio family civil war unfolded before a sold-out crowd. Dominik leaned fully into his convict charade for his entrance, arriving in a corrections van escorted by officers, wearing handcuffs and a hood, as if he were some dangerous felon. He even wore his father's iconic lucha mask, as he stepped onto the stage only to remove it and reveal a wicked grin. Ray would eventually defeat Dominik in one of the most emotional matches in WrestleMania history. The prodigal son was humbled at last. The crowd in SoFi Stadium cheered wildly, as Ray stood over a fallen Dominik victorious. For Dominik, it was a public comeuppance. As he staggered up the ramp, holding his jaw and fighting back tears of rage, fans mocked him. In defeat, Dominik was taught a painful lesson, but true to form, the very next night, he doubled down on his villainy, making it clear that one loss to his dad wouldn't end his crusade of disrespect. The story of Dominik's transformation still had a few twists left. As 2024 rolled in, Dominik Mysterio's personal life in WWE took another scandalous turn. By now, Dominik had firmly re-established himself as a top-tier villain. Even a loss to his father couldn't dampen his momentum. He rebounded quickly, doubling down on his dirty tactics alongside the Judgment Day. In fact, Dominik achieved his first singles title in mid-2023 by venturing to NXT and capturing the North American Championship, showcasing that he could win gold on his own. The boos followed him there too, but something curious was happening. A segment of fans had begun to grudgingly respect Dominik's improvement.
Believe it or not, Force Punch! Dom!
The nepo baby had become a workhorse, and some crowds were almost enjoying his antics in that love-to-hate him way. Perhaps sensing this, WWE storytellers plotted a twist to make sure Dominik stayed utterly despised. The catalyst was Liv Morgan, one of WWE's most popular young female stars and notably a close friend turned enemy of Rhea Ripley. At the 2024 Royal Rumble, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were the final two competitors. With Rhea eliminating Liv to win, Ripley went on to reign as Women's World Champion for months, with Dominik proudly by her side as Dom Dom. But immediately after WrestleMania 40, disaster struck for Ripley. On the Raw after Mania, Liv Morgan ambushed Rhea in a backstage segment, brutally attacking her arm. The assault was so vicious that Rhea was deemed injured, forced to vacate her championship and take time off to recover. In Rhea's sudden absence, Dominik looked lost. His guiding light, his protector, Mommy, was gone. Enter Liv Morgan with an intriguing proposition. Liv began to appear during Dominik's matches and backstage segments, not as an obvious foe, but almost flirtatiously. The WWE Universe watched, stunned and amused as Liv Morgan, typically a virtuous underdog, cozied up to the scheming Dominik. At first, Dominik seemed torn. Was this a mind game on Liv's part? A tactic to mess with Rhea's man while Rhea was out? Or was Dominik actually enjoying the attention of the bubbly Liv? Week by week, Liv's hints grew less subtle. She'd offer Dominik a supportive smile, a wink from the stage, even a helping hand in his matches. Commentators speculated that Liv might be trying to lure Dominik away from Judgment Day loyalty. And indeed, with Rhea gone, Finn Balor and Damian Priest were focused on their own pursuits, leaving Dominik increasingly unsupervised. All spring and summer, the strange courtship continued. Liv Morgan played the devil on Dominik's shoulder, whispering that she could be a better partner than Rhea ever was. Dominik, perhaps blinded by Liv's charm, began to listen. Fans on social media begged him to come to his senses. Don't you dare betray Mommy, Dom. Another fan wrote, Dominik ditching Rhea for Liv Morgan. The heat this guy's gonna get will be nuclear. They were right. In July 2024, the inevitable happened. Rhea Ripley, now medically cleared, made a dramatic return to Raw, and she was out for blood. Ripley confronted Dominik in the ring, fury in her eyes, demanding an explanation for his dalliances with Liv. Dominik tried to smooth talk Rhea, but Ripley was having none of it. As the weeks went on, Mommy and Dom Dom eventually got back on track. That was until SummerSlam rolled around. By SummerSlam 2024, Liv Morgan had already proven she was dangerous. She'd taken Rhea Ripley out months earlier. She'd claimed the Women's World title in her absence. Now Rhea was back and out for revenge. Dominik Mysterio stood in Rhea's corner that night, or at least that's what she thought. The match was physical, emotional. Rhea dominated, even through a dislocated shoulder. She fought through the pain, nearly put Liv away, but then Dominik stepped in. He stopped Rhea from using a steel chair, telling her she'd be disqualified. Moments later, he slid the chair to Liv and distracted the referee. Liv hit Oblivion onto the steel. 1, 2, 3. Rhea was screwed. And then came the dagger. Dominik picked Liv up, smiled, and kissed her, right in front of the woman who had made him a star. The 50,000 fans in attendance lost it. Booing, screaming, gasps.
Dominik, you sorry two-timing son of a bitch!
Rhea looked up from the mat, shocked, betrayed, furious. The fans, livid. The crowd reaction was nuclear. Dominik didn't just cheat, he betrayed Rhea, live for all to see, then made out with the woman who took her title. Social media exploded. Dirty Dom is filthy Dom. He turned on Ray, he turned on Rhea. What a snake. That kiss got one of the loudest reactions all night. Unreal heat. Podcasters, fans, even critics agreed. Dominik Mysterio had just pulled off the sleaziest, most dramatic betrayal of the year. Any goodwill fans had for him evaporated. He wasn't cool anymore, he was detestable. Rhea walked out alone. Dominik walked out grinning, with Liv Morgan and all the heat in the world. That night, Dirty Dom wasn't just hated, he was unforgettable. In storyline, Rhea Ripley was so outraged she quit the Judgment Day entirely, unable to work alongside the man who had betrayed her. Damian Priest, disgusted with Dominik's actions, also distanced himself. Suddenly, Dominik and his new flame, Liv Morgan, were on their own island, ostracized by former friends. This development also ignited a new chapter in Dominik's career. With Ripley gone and Judgment Day fractured, Dominik's status in the group changed. Finn Balor, the de facto remaining leader, looked at Dom with suspicion. After all, if Dominik could betray Rhea, the woman who groomed him into a force, what would stop him from betraying Finn next? Tension simmered between Balor and Dominik, each jockeying for control of their diminished faction. Some observers even argue that Dominik had usurped Balor's position entirely, given Dom's uncanny ability to draw heat. As one veteran noted, everyone believes Dominik Mysterio is the leader of the faction. The kid draws more heat than anyone in the group. Whether he intended to or not, Dominik Mysterio had become the central figure of the Judgment Day's drama. By late 2024, something strange was happening. happening. Crowds still booed Dominik, but the boos were changing. They weren't dismissive anymore, they were passionate, engaged, invested. Online, fans who once mocked him started giving credit. I can't lie, Dominik's actually killing it now. He stayed in character for 2 years straight. Respect. Most improved wrestler hands down. Podcast debated if he was the best pure heel since The Miz. Reddit threads broke down his promos. Even some indie wrestlers publicly praised his work ethic. Dominik hadn't changed his character, he'd just gotten better at it. His timing, his promos, his in-ring work, everything sharpened, and the fans noticed. The same people who once begged WWE to send him back to NXT, they were now holding signs that said, "Dirty Dom for life. Boo this man, but respect him." Dominik Mysterio had become the guy you love to hate. The heel who earned every reaction and never broke character to explain it. April 2025, WrestleMania 41 wasn't just another match, it was a moment. Dominik entered a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental title. No Judgment Day backup, no mummy, just him and the fans. And for the first time, they weren't all booing. Some still cheered, but many cheered, because even if you hated him, you couldn't deny what he'd done. He committed, he improved, he earned it. When Dominik hit that final frog splash and got the 1, 2, 3, the crowd reacted. Loud, unified, real. Not because he turned face, not because he changed who he was, but because he proved everyone wrong. Even the people who hated him the most, they respected the journey.
Dominik with a frog splash and the cover on Balor. Dominik wins the championship.
The young man they once mercilessly jeered had just seized one of WWE's most prestigious titles on the grandest stage. This was the same kid who a few years ago fans said didn't deserve a spot in the WWE. Now he stood tall at WrestleMania, gold in hand. Online the reaction was massive. Okay, I'll admit it, Dirty Dom earned that. #WrestleMania. From a joke to this, incredible. Triple H reportedly told him backstage, go back out there, soak it in, and he did. Standing in the middle of the ring, title raised high, showered in noise. The boy they all wanted gone had become a man they couldn't stop watching. In the end, Dominik Mysterio transformed into everything the WWE Universe said he couldn't be. Once derided as an unready nepo baby, he grew into a cunning, calculated performer who commands arenafuls of reaction. He forged his identity not by denying his father's legacy, but by twisting it into his own legend. Loved and hated in equal measure, Dominik found a way to thrive in the boos and emerge a champion. His story from naive rookie to scorned rebel to victorious anti-hero had all the makings of a Netflix drama. It was real, it was raw, and above all, it was his. The boy who entered WWE as Rey Mysterio's wide-eyed son was now a man standing on his own, and if the deafening reaction of the crowd was any indication, the saga of Dominik Mysterio, filled with boos, betrayal, and unlikely triumph, was only just beginning.